Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Barry Rogers, features editor at Grazia India. And thank you for joining us for Femina into Grazia's virtual beauty carnival. Today, we have one of Bollywood's most thoughtful actors, Tapsi Pannu, and one of my personal favorites. Welcome, Tapsi.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Barry. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Beauty, I mean, beauty, the conversation around beauty has sort of escalated, sort of has evolved, in the months since lockdown was imposed last year. I think
Hmm.
one of my first questions to you, I think an obvious question, but I think something that can be defined person to person. How has beauty
Hmm.
evolved for you? And has beauty taken on a new meaning for you post 2020, considering we've had such a difficult year last year?
Actually, it didn't change much because of 2020 in particular,
Hmm.
because I kind of like changed my idea of beauty sometime before that itself. It took me a little while, like any other girl who would go through the process of not liking anything about her, or how she looks, because she just sees so many
Hmm.
others who she thinks are more beautiful than her. I went
Yes.
through that process as well, be it
Hmm.
looking at my facial features, thinking this is not good, that is not good, what do I do about it, getting a little embarrassed and awkward about it, to my hair texture, which wasn't the most common texture around.
Yes.
And I went ahead and tried to straighten my hair twice permanently, ended up
Hmm.
spoiling it for like good enough time for me to like realize that this is not how I'm going to make it better.
Hmm.
So I've gone through that process of making mistakes, of being not okay in my skin and finding myself not beautiful, to now where if someone asks me how are you, I reply saying I'm beautiful, which which Anubhav sir picked up from how I respond, and he put that thing in Thappad as my character's response.
Yes.
When someone asks her kaisi hai, yeah, how are you, I say I'm beautiful. So I started doing, I generally end up saying that. But I genuinely mean that, when talk about
Hmm.
beauty, I think everyone should realize that they are the most beautiful version of
Hmm.
themselves, because there can be no one better at being who they are.
Hmm.
They can't be anyone better than you
Yes.
in being who you are, right? So comparing yourself to someone else where beauty standard is concerned is just ethically wrong to your own, for your own self.
Hmm.
Once you realize that you've been made this way for a certain reason,
Yes.
and that's what is unique about you,
Hmm.
and even if it's your difference or your awkward feature, or something that you really
Hmm.
don't find perfect, it is that identity mark of yours which sets you apart from others.
Hmm.
So I kind of like transitioned from hating few things about myself to making them as my unique identity,
Hmm.
and embracing it. And that is what made me understand what genuinely being beautiful means. So now I feel beautiful in my skin, and that's been there since past few years. And lockdown thankfully didn't play much role in understanding that. Thankfully I
Hmm.
understood it before than the lockdown. But I hope everyone realizes, everyone realizes this at some point in their lives, will make a very peaceful life for themselves.
Absolutely. And I think it has so much to do with an attitudinal change and a mindset shift, and sort of distancing yourself from what social media dictates. Because I
Yeah.
think this current generation uh, is so taken into the whole social media fad of what beauty should be, and considering there's this debate surrounding filters and everything else. What would be your advice, your personal advice, considering you've been so vocal about beauty and about embracing your natural curls? What would you say to
Hmm.
this generation who's so taken into the whole social media fad of beauty?
In somewhere just revolving around what I just mentioned to
Hmm.
you, that if you find yourself beautiful,
Hmm.
that feeling is
Hmm.
contagious. So
Yes.
people are going to find you beautiful only when you find yourself beautiful.
Mm.
If you find something awkward about yourself, you're going to transfer that energy in other people, and they're going to find something awkward in you. So you can, obviously, social media has set some crazy benchmarks of beauty.
Mm.
But I don't think everyone is oblivious of the fact that
Yeah.
there are certain filters, or certain angles, or there are some
Mm.
500 pictures taken before one picture is posted, and that also is tweaked to a large
Yes.
extent. I think everybody's aware of those hacks.
Mm.
Or if you're not, then I hope you get to know that soon, because that will get snap you out of that dreamy world that social media creates for you.
Yes.
It makes for wonderful reference images for different kind of research work,
Mm.
but it's got not much to do with reality. So I tend to tell everyone, like, if you look at my social media page, most of the pictures there are not those airbrushed, fancy, glamorized pictures. Which in the beginning of my career, a lot of people used to tell me, "Why don't you put up some really,
Mm.
like really fancy or a glamorous picture of yours?"
Yeah.
And like how other actresses do, some posed, some like
Yes.
really like well posed picture. And I was like, well, that is the job of the magazine, or
Mm.
whatever photo shoot I do for. My social media is reflective of my state of mind, or
Yes.
what I am thinking of currently, and it needs to come across like that. So most of my pictures on my social media are those beautiful moments
Mm.
that are captured in pictures, where I'm not looking the perfect looker as such, but
Mm.
that moment is so beautiful that you don't really go to how my skin, my face, my whatever is looking,
Mm.
because this new moment itself is so beautiful. So
Yes.
that gets me the likes, not that
Mm.
how beautiful I am looking. That moment gets me the likes. So I think
Mm.
that's how I use my social
Mm.
media, which I hope others also do that.
Great. And I'm glad, and I think we're collectively as a body of creatives. I think we've noticed that there's been a conscious effort to highlight women with with darker skin, with
Hmm.
curlier hair, with bigger bodies.
Hmm.
But do you
Hmm.
think there's more we can do in terms of representation?
Well, we have just started,
Mm.
so there is a long way to go, and it needs to the spectrum needs to go a little wider. There are
Mm.
fewer people doing that right
Mm.
now. If you look at the larger spectrum, people are still stuck into the color, the
Mm.
fairer color, the straighter, longer hair, to a certain body size. All these things at a mass level are
Mm.
still yet to change.
Mm.
But I always look at the glass half full than half empty, because there
Mm.
are people who are now waking up to the fact that it is okay to be a different
Yes.
to look a different way. So at least there's a start, and then there's a long way to go until it becomes normalized and it's not considered as a special, unique,
Mm.
good thing.
Mm.
That normalizing needs to happen, which will equate all hair textures, all skin colors, all body types at the same level.
And are there any particular stereotypes you'd like to sort of see the media or social media in a way banish? I mean, banish is a harsh word, but some a stereotype that you think doesn't deserve the limelight anymore.
I just find all this banning or banishing and boycotting a very hard term
Hmm.
sometimes. um Say example, if someone is fair and thin and has got like straight
Hmm.
hair naturally,
Hmm.
and that person loves this look and they have gotten it naturally and they want to
Hmm.
flaunt it, there's nothing wrong in it.
Hmm.
Wrong comes in when you don't, or you put down someone who doesn't look like you, or doesn't
Hmm.
approve, or doesn't live up to your beauty standards.
Hmm.
If you're trying to put that person down, is that's wrong.
Yes.
It's not wrong to celebrate what you have.
Hmm.
So that ways I wouldn't want to banish or ban anyone who would want to post something because they like that thing.
Hmm. And as you mentioned earlier, I think your Instagram is your personal account. And do you consciously try to sort of set a certain narrative that, you know what, you don't need to put up airbrush pictures, you can celebrate who you are naturally? And do you think a lot more people of influence, and I'm not only bringing in celebrities here, but people of influence, do you think we need to consciously now say, you know what, we need to also use our social media to set a narrative that's beauty positive?
So again, here, I find it very wrong to dictate people what to do or what not
Okay.
to do.
Mm.
It's kind of a very extremist attitude to tell people you should not be doing this, or this is wrong and you should just stop doing this.
Mm.
What I can do is to evoke, or at least to show the other side which they are kind of oblivious of, or to give a different narrative a chance to come in the limelight, so that they think that this also might be good, which probably was not something that they were following. I can just be that, plant that idea through my social media influence. But you can be that change maker in a way, who puts in that idea, because to bring about a change, it's everybody's individual conscience that needs to play the role. But you can only be that instigator. So I would want to be that instigator, but not a dictator who would tell people not to do something or to do something.
Okay. And now currently with the banning, not the banning, but people are sort of taking a backseat when it comes to applying so many filters to their pictures and stuff like that. Do you think filters in general need to be scrapped? I think someone asked me that. Do you think filters in general? And I really didn't have anything to say, but do you have a take on this?
That's what I said. By banning filters, you really think you'll change the mindset of people and they make them feel more beautiful about themselves just because they don't have access to filter? When back in the day, when there were no filters, do you think everyone found themselves beautiful, and there was no like these kind of hard beauty benchmarks that people had back then? Well, they were really hard beauty benchmarks, just that they were not out there in open on social media, but it was still there. The dark was considered still ugly for some reason back then, when that social media filter generation was not there. So I don't think by taking away a certain thing from the current generation, by removing filters or removing this and banning that, is actually going to change their mindset. It's not. It has to be from within yourselves. Taking away is more like, again, it's a more dictatorship attitude, and not really by taking away something or by forcing them to do something, you are instilling some kind of fear in people, and you cannot really have a genuine change out of fear. It will be very temporary.
And is there a beauty lesson you've picked up from the older generation, say from your mom, something that she said that stuck with you?
Just eat homemade food. I used to be this lover of French fries. I still am. And that noodle loving generation, and that all that, having all kind of trash from outside and just waiting for that one opportunity to go out and eat. And I remember my parents didn't give me pocket money while I was growing up, so that I don't have money to spend outside on these things. Didn't used to give me money for that fountain Pepsi also that I used to get from the canteen. So all that, depriving me of all that, and I used to get really angry back then. But now I realize, it is for something good. And I don't know if we all learn from making mistakes, and that's the best way to learn, actually, because then you really know why not to do what not to do. So that is one tip that I'm really glad that I do now. I follow now. Eat some good homemade food.
Great. Taapsee, this is the end of our chat here. Thank you so much again for joining us. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to this chat at the Virtual Beauty Carnival.